So we're at the warehouse right now, and this is actually where we're going to be staging all of the meters for the meter exchange. All of our inventory that the MIV will be exchanging will be showing up at this facility. Not only will the installers through the MIV, but then also the clay installers will be staging out of this facility. Meter boxes right here are coming through the warehouse, and we're doing sample testing. And then once the meters have been passed, they're going to be moving into an inventory state where we'll actually assign them out to the meter installers. What we have here are the meter boxes, just a small sample of what we have here. Once the meter has been passed, they're going to be moving over into this area right here. These are going to be the meters that we're going to be installing. There are various different types of meters. Primarily, we're going to be looking at residential type of meters that have a service disconnect. So we intend to have approximately 3 months worth of inventory here, which really nets us out to about 30,000 meters on premise here at one time. Our typical installer, we're going to have anywhere from 10 to 12 installers. They're going to be installing anywhere from 80 to 120 meters per day. Our range or our goal for the monthly install rate is about 10,000 meters. So hence the 3 month worth of inventory here being 30,000 meters. So a typical day or a day in the life of the installer, they're going to be arriving here around 7:30 in the morning. They're going to be consigned a meter set. It's going to be their meters that they're going to be installing for the day. They're going to load up in the morning, and then they're going to head out to the field. Typically our installs start at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we end the day at about 5:30 in the evening. At that time, they would typically come back here to the warehouse and then unload their exchange meters, or the old meters. Those are going to be put back into the bays that we have in the east side of the shop here, west side. At that point, it's kind of a rinse repeat, and they're going to come back in the morning. They're going to load back up with the next batch of meters that they're going to install, and then drop off the old meters at the end of the day. Typically what we run into are lock gates, or if a member is home but they don't necessarily come to the door. Those are typically the issues that we run into. We don't necessarily get a response when we knock on the door. Keep in mind that the installer will knock several times on the door, not just once and then go over to the meter and do the exchange, but they'll knock several times, give the member an opportunity to come to the door. And one of the challenges there is if they don't come to the door, we leave a door hanger, tell them that we were by, and then we would go and do the meter exchange. If we were successfully able to do the exchange, we would mark on the door hanger that we were able to successfully change the meter out. If we weren't, then we would mark the reasons why we weren't able to do the exchange and have a phone number for them to call in, and then they would be able to schedule the appointment. Now again, I'm going to circle back around, because when the member is home but they don't come to the door, when the meter gets pulled, obviously they're going to be out of power, and that's typically when they come to the door and they come outside and try to see what's going on. So a challenge is a member being home but they don't come to the door. The others are typical. You know, you have bad dogs, or you have lock gates, some kind of reason why you can't get to the meter. That's probably another one of the main challenges that we have. We're going to try to notify the member, and we're going to try to ask them to put the dog away. We always will try to leave that door hanger if we can. If the dog is right at the gate, we'll leave the door hanger at the gate and say, sorry we missed you, please call the Allegiant Utility Services Clay Electric hotline, and then we'll be able to actually schedule the appointment where the member will be home, we can safely put the dog up and safely do the meter exchange. One thing I want to say is that safety is very important for us, not only member safety but installer safety. So we want to do this safe. If there's an unsafe condition, we have that happen in the field where we do a meter exchange and the insides of the meter can come with the meter itself. So in those cases like that, the meter installer will stay on site, call into the dispatch center, we'll get a Clay Electric technician to come out and then make the service safe. There are always going to be those members that feel like we didn't door knock or we didn't attempt to notify them. The other challenge is sometimes they will call in and the installer misses the communication and then goes out there. Those are some of the issues that we run into with the member and why they would be calling in and making that issue known to Clay. We absolutely work and do our diligence to try to work with the member. Member access or just access to the meter is typically the number one issue that we have. Clay Electric is sending out communications. We send that out in advance. There's not a specific time and a specific day that we can target to say we're going to exchange your meter at 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. or 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Friday. Unfortunately, that does not happen frequently unless the member calls in and tries to make an appointment. One thing I was going to add on some of the challenges, Clay Electric right now is doing a manual meter read. So members are used to having someone come onto their property, reading the meter, which is helpful for us when we're doing the meter exchange because they're expecting that. One of the other challenges we've had at other locations, if the member is not expecting someone to be on site on a regular basis or even be on their property, that becomes the issue. They're not expecting someone to show up, so it's a surprise to that member, and sometimes those are bad surprises that they don't appreciate. Majority of the meters that are going to be installed on services right now are actually going to have this kind of form factor to it. So once this meter is installed, it gives Clay Electric the ability to remotely connect, disconnect, and remotely read the meter. If there's any technology issues or technology questions around what my meter capability is, they should contact the member services at Clay Electric. If there's any issues with the meter exchange itself, the member can call into the Allegiant Utility Services 800 number.